Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Puan Siti Aisyah and my fellow friends. Today, my group will represent about communication in sport. My group is represented by Cik Sofia Amalini binti Zaidi, Muhammad Ali Saufi bin Saifuddin, Fatin Najwa binti Suhaimi and Muhammad Firdaus bin Muhammad Zahid.
My name is Cik Sofia Emalini binti Zaidi. I will cover topic communication in sport. What is communication? Communication is a process through which individuals mutually exchange their ideas, values, feeling and action with one or more people. Communication is the transfer of information from the sender to the receiver, so that it can be understood in the right context. Communication is a process of initiating, transmitting, and receiving information. Communication is that means of making the transfer of information productive and goal-oriented. Communication is the process of sharing information, ideas, and attitude between individuals. Communication can be interpersonal communication and organizational communication. Interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is the process of exchange of information, ideas, and feelings between two or more people through verbal or nonverbal methods. It often includes face-to-face exchange of information in form of words, facial expression, body language, and gestures. Organizational communication. Organizational communication is the sending and receiving of messages among interrelated individuals within a particular environment or setting to achieve individual and common goals. Organizational communication is highly contextual and culturally dependent. Individuals in organizations transmit messages through face-to-face, written, and mediated channels. Verbal. Verbal is communication with the use of words and language to communicate message to other party. This will perform two ways, that is oral communication and written communication. Non-verbal is the process of the communication without the use of words. It only uses facial expression, body language, gestures, postures, eye contact, and physical expression. Sound with specific meaning and warning, image that control or encourage behavior, situational behavior that convey meaning, clothing and physical surrounding that imply status. Let's see function of communication. Communication function refer to how people use language for different purposes. It also refers to how language is affected by the different times, place, and situation. First function of communication is control. Second is motivation. Third is information, and lastly is emotional expression. Let's see one by one function of communication. Control. Communication acts to control member behavior in several ways. Organizations have authority hierarchy and formal guidelines employees are required to follow. When employees must communicate any job-related grievance to their immediate boss, follow their job description or comply with company policies. Communication is performing a control function. Informal communication controls behavior too. When words groups tease or harass a member who produces too much and makes the rest of the group look bad, they are informally communicating and controlling the member behavior. For example, is doctor description, take your medicine 3 times a day. Next is parents' instruction to their child. Wash the dishes now, or else I won't allow you to go to the party later. Next is motivation. Motivation is used to persuade another person to change his or her opinion, attitude, or behavior to improve performance. Communication fosters motivation by clarifying the employers what they must do, how well they are doing it, and how they can improve their performance. The formation of specific goals, feedback on progress toward the goals, and reward for desired behavior all stimulate motivation and require communication. Next is information. Information used for giving and getting information. Communication provides the information individuals and groups need to make decisions by transmitting the data needed to identify and evaluate choice. Emotional expression. Emotional expression is a social interaction in the form of work group communication, provide a way for employers to impress themselves. Communication facilitates people's impression of their feeling and emotion. Basic example of emotional expression is yes, I get it. I hate you.
Everyone, I'm Muhammad Ali Saufi. We talk about communication process. The communication process consists of 4 processes, which are: the first one is the sender encodes the message. Then the sender will transmit the message to the person or a group. Then the third one, the receiver will decode the message. And the last one, the receiver may give or not give the feedback. Next, we will go through into the process one by one. The first one is sender. Sender is anyone who wants to convey or seek the information from the other person. For example, in the organization, the sender could be the managers, customers, suppliers, or even the competitors. Message. The message is the formalization of the ideas which the sender wishes to convey. The message may be transmitted by words, written, spoken, or the body language for the sender. The message must be framed carefully to minimize the misunderstanding by the receiver. The third one is channel selection. Selecting the right channel for transmitting a message is the key of effective communication. The common channels that have been used are writing, speaking, and electronic media equipment. The specific channels used to transmit message might be face-to-face meetings, written letters, fax message, computer printouts, telephone calls, and many others. Encoding. Encoding refers to the symbols a sender selects to transmit a message through the desired channel so that the receiver decodes it properly. The example form of expression may be charts, tables, words, and written summaries. Receiver. The receivers are the persons to whom the message is directed. If the message does not get to the intended receiver, no communication takes place. Decoding. Decoding is the process where the receiver translates the sender's symbol into the meaningful thought. If the sender and the receiver have similar values, experiences, and word interpretation, there is less chance of a communication breakdown. Next, feedback. Feedback is a response or reaction by the receiver to the sender's message. It may be an acknowledgement that the message has been received or the receiver may take the action desired by the sender. The last one is noise barrier. The noise barrier is a disturbances that interferes or become a barrier to the message reaching the receiver. There are 6 barriers to effective communication. The first one is filtering. Filtering is where the deliberate manipulation of information to make the message appear more favorable to the receiver. Emotion. Disregarding rational and objective thinking processes and substituting emotional judgment when interpreting message. Information overload. Being confronted with a quantity of information that exceeds an individual's capacity to process it. Defensiveness. When threatened, reacting in a way that reduces the ability to achieve mutual understanding. Language. The different meaning of and specialized ways in which senders use words can cause receivers to misinterpret their message. National culture. Communication references that arise from the different language and national cultures.
Hi, my name is Fatin Najwa binti Zuhaimi. I will cover overcoming the barrier to effective interpersonal communication. Overcoming the barrier to effective interpersonal communication has 5 points. First point is simplify language. Second point is listen actively. Third point is use feedback. Fourth point is constrain emotion. And the last point is watch for nonverbal clues. Simplify language. Use basic sentences to express what you are trying to deliver so that the audience can understand your context easily. Listen actively. Active listening is the ability to focus completely on a speaker, understand their message, comprehend the information, and respond thoughtfully. Use feedback. It means that you provide positive answer to someone's job or suggestion when you provide input. Constrain emotion. Try not to sound too emotional or upset when giving speech. Though some topics are extremely sensitive and upsetting, letting your emotion overpower your speech will make you look more unprofessional. Watch for nonverbal clues. Know that you did speak more loudly than your word. Maintain a line with the two. Communication flow has 4 points, which are downward flow, upward flow, horizontal communication flow, and diagonal communication flow. Downward communication is the flow of information and message from a higher level inside an organization to a lower one. Upward communication is the transmission of information from lower level of an organization to higher one. Horizontal communication refers to the flow of message across functional areas on the same level as an organization. Diagonal communication is the sharing of information among different structural levels within a business. Diagonal communication has become a norm in organizations since it can maximize the efficiency of information exchange.
I, Muhammad Firdaus, will explain about the formal communication and informal communication. Formal communication flows through official channels designed in the organization chart. Communication that follows the official chain of the command or is part of the communication required to do one job. For example of formal communication, given by work commands, reports and financial evidence, statement referring to the company policies. This formal communication have an advantage and disadvantage. Advantage of formal communication is increased overall efficiency. This type of communication is used by following the predetermined rules so it increase the overall efficiency. Number 2, easy communication system. Top-level management communicates system with their employees by using formal downwards communicate system. Number 3, maintenance of discipline. Under the formal communication system, the workers are bound to be careful to their on duty. Disadvantage of formal communication. Wasting of time. Top-level management communicate with their employee by maintaining the board of succession, not bypassing any executive or any level. Number 2 is inflexibility. Ordinarily, the formal communication is inflexible. If somebody out of the channel intends to change his views, it is not possible. Informal communication. Communication that is not defined by the organization hierarchy. Informal communication is faster and flows freely in the organization. Informal communication may be oral or written. For example, it's more casual and spontaneous. Informal communication also called rapid communication because there is no definite channel of communication. In informal communication include speaking to a person about the weather, writing an email about your holiday or yourself. Second, informal communication also can be gesture with no words, just body language only. In conclusion, this communication is important in an organization or in sport. Perfect communication may lead to success or achieve the goal. So we have now to communicate in our team and build chemistry. Even someday there will be miscommunication in a team. We must know how to overcome it so that it will be an effective communication. That's all from us. Thank you so much for your attention.